Working on classic Hondas can always be a hard thing to do. As enthusiasts, we rarely take the time to learn the ins and outs of our motorcycles so that we can learn how to fix them in the future and how to troubleshoot any problems that might come up. Motorcycle mechanics are so good at their craft because they work on it every single day. That means that they practice their craft and they're able to figure out issues faster than the average home enthusiast out there. That is why owning a good set of these actually comes in very handy. And sure, owning a good repair manual is a lot better than having an owner's manual, but I wanted to show you these because I think that these are actually very beneficial for those classic Honda enthusiasts out there. You'd be surprised how much information you can find in here on how to do the repairs on your motorcycle. Keep in mind, Hondas and old motorcycles from the 70s, from the 60s, they actually encourage you to work on your motorcycle, unlike the newer stuff that we see out here. Do we even have owner's manuals anymore? Now again, just because you're not a mechanic doesn't mean you can't get good at fixing your motorcycle. Now these owner's manuals actually have a lot of information. One of my favorite pieces of information in these manuals are actually that of the wiring diagram. So let me show you how that looks. So here I have a set of owner's manuals. This one belongs to a 1976 Honda CB550. Now it's important to note that this one came out of a motorcycle that is from the year December of 1975. So that means that they included a 76 manual because it was a later model 75. So this one pertains to that motorcycle. Now, what's interesting about this one is that this manual doesn't actually have a date like this one, but this one belongs to a 1974 model that was actually built in August of 74. So technically you can consider this a 75 and then this is a 76. So there's a few similarities between these two motorcycles because they're only about a year apart. But one of the differences in these motorcycles is the wiring diagram. So I wanted to show you that. And I wanted to show you how you can become better at actually reading these diagrams if you don't actually work on motorcycles like these on a daily basis. So I'm gonna go ahead and put on some gloves. Now I know what you're thinking.
Gay!
Having some gloves is gonna allow me to really preserve these owner's manuals. Believe it or not, these owner's manuals can range anywhere from $50 to $100 on eBay if you're looking for an original set of owner's manuals for these motorcycles. That is why we should do our part to try to conserve these. I love owner's manuals. They're one of the most collectible things for me. But the cool thing about owner's manuals is that, especially when you find them on these old Hondas, is that a lot of the owners that own these motorcycles didn't even know that they were there. They usually lived under the seat, and that is why they weren't discovered. So opening up one of these Honda CB550 or 500 manuals is like, it's awesome because you're actually opening up a manual that has never been opened up before. So that's why I like it. So let's dive into it so I can show you the wiring diagram. All right, so let's start with this 1976 owner's manual. Now this owner's manual is not in that great of shape. It has a little bit of a tear right here. But if you go through it, it actually tells you a lot of the ways that you should drive your motorcycle. How you should kind of maintain your distance from other vehicles, the stopping distance at low speed, high speed. It gives you a lot of information that can help you when really working on your motorcycle. I mean, look at this. I don't know, I think this looks awesome. It gives you some of the places where you can find some of those maintenance points. And really, this manual is mainly for doing your maintenance. Notice here how under the seat it shows you where the manual is, where this would be. Now this is kind of hidden. That's why a lot of people wouldn't find these manuals, and that's why a lot of them are still in good shape, just like that one over there. And I'll show you what I mean here in a bit. But as you can see, it gives you all of the things that you might need to do your regular maintenance and repair. Now, if you go to the back of this one has been written on, as you can see here. So the owner did find this one. It does have a little bit of wear right here. One of the most awesome things to me is this right here. Now you gotta be careful because these usually are starting to fall apart. As you can see with this one, it has a little bit of a hole in the middle here and there, but this is the wiring diagram. Now, I want to show you this because it's very important to kind of understand how it works and what things you should look for. Now, first off, when you look at a wiring diagram like this, first thing you want to do is you want to look at your colors for the wiring. Now, this right here will tell you what the letters on the wires, what the colors mean, and it'll tell you that right here. It'll also give you the position of your switches right here. So all of these little circles here will tell you that in this position, so here you have different letters, in that position, these connections are connected to each other. So if you notice that there's a circle here and another circle there, then that circle means that that wire gets connected here to here when your switch is in this position. So I'll give you an example here. Hopefully I can show you here on the camera, but this is a engine starter switch. So this is the one that goes on your handlebar. So this little box just means that they're together. The right hand side is your push start button. So this one is when you push start it, you connect the ST1 and the ST2 cables together. And then when you let it go, when it's free, that's when your ST1 and then HL wires are connected together. So these are always connected in the free position. So if you look on this side now, you have in the off position, you don't have any wires connected. And in the run position, you have these two wires connected. Now, interestingly enough, you have to be a little bit careful because here it says KB and KW, but if you go over to the starter switch, over here, it's a little bit different. So in the off position, you don't have any wires connected to the off positions, but in the run position, you do have these two wires. So you have the black with white, and then you have the black connected together. But it doesn't make any mention of these actual letters here, which are KB and KW. But you can assume by looking at this switch here that those are the ones that they're talking about, because obviously it's telling you here that they're connected together. So by looking at these, you're able to kind of figure out what wires are connected to each switch and in each position. So that way you can figure out where they go. And it's pretty cool because if you look at this manual here, if you look at this wiring diagram, it looks pretty cool. And I might say that this is well put together, and you know, it looks nice the way that they kind of arranged it all. And you're able to see the wires very well. Everything is drawn out very well. Now, I'm not sure what Honda was thinking by organizing their electrical wiring diagrams in this way. I mean, they look good, they look structured, and they look nice, I would say, modern, I guess. But they really took away from the essence of Honda in a way that I feel they shouldn't have. Now, let me show you what I mean by that, because I think that you might agree. So here we have our 76 manual. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that, well, I'll just put it off to the side here for just a bit. But now let's go over to the 74 manual. Now, if you open this up, you'll notice that most of the things in here are pretty much the same. Hopefully I can zoom in. But all of the things in here as far as how to service your motorcycle, they're all pretty much the same. They look just like the previous owner's manual. It gives you the illustrations. Some things do change. Maybe the pictures change a little bit. To me, the most important thing that Honda shouldn't have changed is this right here. Now, I know this is just a style thing or maybe a preference thing, but this manual is actually super mint. So I'm gonna be very careful with it because I wanna preserve this and keep it. But if you look here, try to open this without wrinkling the pages. But if you look here, dang, okay. Look at how nice that looks. Hopefully y'all can see that. So this is the old school Honda way of illustrating everything. Notice the big difference here. So you have all of your components. You have your engine little diagram here, or like the illustration of your engine. with the point system here, and you have your spark plugs, you have your battery over here. Over here you have another illustration of your engine here with the stator over here, or the, I guess your charging diagram here. And then you have your handlebars here, which it basically tells you, well, there's a switch on the right handlebar, then that's a switch that goes over to your starter button or whatever the case may be. There's a switch on your left handlebar, and that one goes over to the headlight, and it'll show an illustration of the headlight, your horn and everything, your turn signals, your rear turn signals, your rear tail light. So if you really look at this, I mean, they did a great job of illustrating this so that the average Honda rider or guy trying to do the maintenance on their motorcycle can see this very, very clearly. Now, this is a lot less intimidating than if you look at something like this. To me, this just looks kind of flat. It doesn't really show you. You kind of have to be a little bit more technical in understanding your wiring diagrams, and you can, obviously, but from a user standpoint, this is actually more user-friendly. Now, if you're a motorcycle enthusiast, this is what you want to actually be looking at. So how can we make it a little bit easier for us to understand this type of wiring diagram? You got to be honest. These look a lot better on these older Honda motorcycles. So I have an idea that might help us kind of visually get to know our wiring diagrams so that we can make repairs to our motorcycles in the future. So follow along. All right, so I'm gonna start by loading up my Honda manual onto my scanner. Now, I wanna be very careful when I do this because I wanna make sure that I can preserve this and I can use it in the future. Now, I want to frame this or something because I really like old Honda manuals, especially ones that have been untouched, just like this one. This one, you can tell that it's super crisp. Nobody had ever really laid eyes on it since the bike came out of the factory. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on in my scanner. Now I'm going to scan this to 300 dpi, so that means the highest resolution that the scanner can do, so that I can upload it into my computer, so that then I can kind of tweak this and kind of go through it and make it my own, so that I can display it here in my shop. So I'm going to show you how that looks. All right, so I got the files uploaded to my computer. Now I'm just gonna do my own personal little tweaks. I'm gonna add a few logos, my logo, and maybe the Honda logo, and I'm gonna make this wiring diagram look very well. So why are we doing this? And to be honest, the reason that I wanted to do this is I wanted to have this wiring diagram over my workbench for a long time. And the reason for that is because I wanted to look at it every single day. As I'm working on my motorcycles, I want to be able to look at it kind of like a piece of art, so that I can see and kind of point out or look at different things, so that I can start to get my mind used to how these wiring diagrams work. Now, if you're into Honda motorcycles, or if you're into any type of motorcycle, really what you want to do something like this so that it can be something that you're constantly looking at and constantly learning from. I'm gonna take these off. So will this be beneficial for you? I mean, only you can decide that. But for me, having it over my workbench, being able to look at it every day will allow me to really look at how the wiring works, how each component works. And by looking at an illustration like the one from an old Honda, where you can see the handlebars, where you can see where the battery is, where you can see the headlights, that will really visually help you see and kind of piece things together. So whenever you're working on a motorcycle, you can kind of look at that and get a sense of how each component works. So now that we have the file set up on our computer, now it's time to send it out to print so that we can get the finished product back. Now, I purchased a 24 by 36 poster from my local Walmart. I purchased that for about $10. And so I sent out the file to get printed at my local Office Depot. And then from there, I'm going to kind of put those two together so I can put it here over my bench. So let's get working on that, and I'll show you what the finished product is. Wait, should we do a fancy montage? Yeah, let's do that.
say what I mean, and everywhere I go is the wrong place to be. I think I should go home, but I don't know where it is. Bring me back to me, please. Bring me back to me, please. Bring me back to me, please. It's making me feel so weak. It's making me feel so weak. Bring me back.
So there you have it, guys, our final product. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you all for watching.